Welcome back, everybody. Well, what do you think of the last one? I thought it was kind of cool. I still look at it going, man, that's kind of neat, you know? Whether or not it's going to work or not is another thing, because you have to remember, you're not going to know if it's going to work until you put everything on there and drive it. You know, and when you drive it, if it all holds together and nothing is when they go wonky or whatever like that, then I'll know that it's actually working. But right now, what I have to do is start completing the front end by fixing the rust and patching all the holes and making sure everything is basically put together to where it's supposed to be. Now, the front section is the hardest, the rear section is the second hardest, and the middle is the easiest. So other than that, I better stop talking, because seeing how this is part two, I just want to get on with it and start working, because you know what? This is more, I'll explain everything at the end, but this is more of a record to show you that I actually did it, because a lot, like I said before, there's a lot of YouTubers out there that say they did shit, but what they did was they wrote a check, and it's just, no, this is to prove to you that I can do it, and if I can do it, you can do it. Trust me. All right, so let me finish up this, get on to working on that, and let's see how fast I can do it, which is not going to be fast. It's going to be fast for you, not me. It's going to be, yeah. All right, let me just finish this up, get my stuff on, bring you over here, we'll just start blasting it out. As far as I want to go on the front, because I have to have the front fenders on, pretty much. Let's go to the back. and we'll start, because that's like the worst thing to do, and then I'll go forward. You notice I always pick the worst thing to do and then go forward, but you know, that's part of it. All right, let me shut this down and spin this around.
This is the best way to put a door on. Flip it upside down. It moves nice and easy now. I think that's going to be strong. This fills in the divot that I put in order to crunch the fender, and it should be pretty stable. There's a real light tackiness to it because it hasn't been that long. But what it is we're good enough. Now we got to clean up all of this, install the wheel well liner, and then we will get going, continue. Well, it's done. Oh my God. What you have seen has been roughly maybe 2.25, 2.5 months. And it is, it's been long. Remember, you can do it. You gotta be pretty fucking stupid, but you can do it. Great. But it's all welded. The chassis is entirely welded. Have I forgotten stuff? Absolutely. Because I keep coming down here and doing this. And you know, you probably want to think, well, why'd you show us this? This is to prove to you that I actually did it. That's what this whole thing is about, is that, you know, some schmo like me can go out there and buy a welder and basically put this thing together. Now you have to remember, at this point, if you don't include the fenders, you're talking argon, welding wire, flap wheels, cutoff wheels, all that stuff. You probably have about 1,300 into the chassis. That's with all the old roll cage tubing, everything, because everything was basically thrown away junk, you know, and all the filing cabinets and drafting tables and all the other crap and compressors and all the other shit that I did to put into this thing. It's just like, wow. Oh, I'm going to show you here in just a second on some of the stuff that I did. But what it is that if you count the fenders, this is basically $35,000 to $4,000 right now, you know, and that's with everything, the motor, suspensions, everything. So, yeah, let's take a walk around. Let me show you what it is. Let me start at the front. What it is, we have the wheel well. I had to make sure the wheel well tub or inner liner or whatever that's going to attach this fender is going to be up to this point right here. So when the wheel comes up, it's going to go to that part of the fender. Well, that's what it is. I left out this section right here so I can unbolt and bolt it all up. So when I panel bond it, it's basically be compressed in with a wrench, you know, with an M10, and that way we can get it in there. Then I'll weld the plate on to finish this. I welded on little strips right here, because basically what I'm going to do is this, I made like a little trough on all four sides, and what I'm going to do is just fill it with panel bond and clamp it together. That way it's like it's like a tongue and groove. That's what I want it to be. Now over to the rocker, let me show you over here. Here's the rocker assembly right here. Take a look. This is the quarter you're going to have, and it's going to be sticking out. It looks like probably about 3/4 of an inch, about 19 millimeters. I'm trying to figure out with the rocker, because I put the plates on the bottom to lock the rocker in, to basically split the difference between as far in as I can and out. That way, when this thing transitions, when I start doing the body work, I'm not sure. What I think I'm going to do is cut a slit in this, take some material out, push it in, hold it, and do the same thing I did with the fender, because you saw me fiberglass in the in part of the fender that I basically hogged out in order for it to compress in order to fit the actual pillar and actually make it look right. I might do the same thing to the bottom part of the rocker. Every single thing is welded. Let me go further back also. Here is this section right here, which is going to basically be the tongue and groove section for the bottom part. Everything else is welded in. Now inside, I also did I welded every single thing. Let me show you that. Inside, I welded the door bars. The door bars are all welded in, both sides. They're all set, so we don't have to do anything there. I took out the e-brake assembly, mounting system you want to call it. It was all rotted. And I'm going to it's either going to be like they had before with the standard line lock for the hydraulic rears to make it, sort of like a emergency brake, or a hydraulic handbrake. It'll probably be a hydraulic handbrake because I like them. Other than that, every single thing is welded. The entire cage is fully welded, all in, all set. Every single plate for the cage is welded inside. All the plates down here for the bottom floor pan, I welded up. The floor pan needs to be replaced. But the whole thing is just like, as far as I know, you can't buy them, and I don't have any, and I'm going to leave it the way it is. And let me see about, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I mean, every time I started to weld it, it was just blowing through. It's just what it is. But what it is next is, because I welded the plate here, welded all this down. Is a big part of it was a lot of the undercoating and all that grinding off. You saw that. And I welded every single piece, the entire section. I closed up all the ends going into the trunk section, or where the spare tire mount and all the spare tire section and fuel cell is going to be. Everything else is I put plates right here. You saw those plates are from a 4000 Quattro, the back section, because they look cool. Do they do anything? Probably not. But they actually, I think they look pretty neat. It matches the control arms I put up here a long time ago. Other than that, I think it is all done. I mean, I have the quarters. Both sides are equal. I have the quarters, I mean, really, really right on the money. So I'm really happy with the way they're sitting. It's just the transition with this rocker to this rear section rocker on the rear quarter is going to be the problem. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. This might all have to be taken out. Right now, this car is, it's waning in my patience. So, but the whole thing is, it's pretty much all set, And now when I start doing the body work, I got to start doing other things and getting ready to panel bond, but I have to get onto the Sport Quattro. But first things first, this is all welded, and remember, you can do it. Oh, let me show you what I used for the metal for this car. This is all the metal that we used for the car. An old compressor tank, P3 Passat, I think that was a Jetta, Mark V Jetta, a case for an old analyzer, all junk, all scrap metal, so it didn't really cost me anything to put it into the car and weld it in. It's just the metal in the grinding wheels and all the other stuff. But in the compressor, I turreted the bottom parts of the strut towers, and with that to straighten them up and to have something to weld to, for the wheel wells. That's pretty much it. Oh, and on the back, I had to redo the wheel well. You saw me putting the tire in there. You have to understand when the suspension compresses like over a jump, comes back in, you have to have enough clearance for the wheel to go up into where the point of the arch is. That's what it was designed for, and that's what I put. So the wheel will go up and down, no problem. So other than that, I hope this video wasn't too crazy because it was just proof. It's just proof to show you that I did it. I mean, yes, it's taken two and a half months roughly. I can't remember what it is, but when this jacket comes off, that means it's good for body work. And that's when I can start doing things and making sure it's exact, and then figuring out where everything's going to be. Because, I mean, the rockers are going to be kind of a difficult because it just kind of threw some more stuff in. But other than that, I mean, next thing is I got to get the Sport onto the rotisserie so I can finish that. Do exactly what I did to the front suspension on this to triangulate everything in. That way it's all set to go and ready to rock and roll. I have to redo the, on the Sport, I have to redo the back wheel wells. Same thing I had to do with this to understand the clearance for the tire going up into the wheel well for suspension compression. Other than that, thanks a lot. I appreciate you showing up. You can do this.
I mean, it's getting there. I mean, have I missed stuff? Of course I missed stuff because it's just, when you're on it all the time, it's just like you're gonna just like overlook it. But I'll find that out because once I put it over to the corner, every time I walk by it, I'm gonna look, so I have to write something down I have to do. It's just one of those things. But you know what? If you're foolish enough to tackle this project by putting a coupe body on a rusty old 4000 underneath, you know, you go out and get a bunch of junk panels to weld into it, hey, more power to you. You can do it, trust me, you can do it. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.